The main six versus Satoru Gojo is absolutely embarrassing. Video by TGgojj.
Satoru Gojo, the main six. These 7 are regarded as the pinnacle of their verses, however, for entirely different reasons. One for his overwhelming abilities and raw power, the others for their kindness, laughter, and loyalty, generosity, honesty, and most importantly of all, magic.
Do they all have different, are they like different themes? Like is one the kindness pony, we got a generosity pony, is this some shit like that? Because right here I'm seeing some like magical girl analogs. I know this one's probably, Pinky probably kindness. Like she was, I didn't really watch too much My Little Pony growing up, but she was like, yeah, like Care Bears, bro. Pinky was like overly energetic. I remember Rainbow Dash was just dumb fast, bro. I be seeing her in legitimate speedster conversations. I think I had a crush on one of these flying ones. I don't remember which one growing up. Applejack, wasn't she always making apple juice or some shit, bro? Or like apple cider? And then this is the one they be shipping with Mordecai. This is the one they be shipping with Mordecai, bruh.
Magic. And since apparently I'm now the guy who puts toddler shows up against serious characters, I'm gonna put them up against each other because, well, why not? Will the Honored One prove why he's the strongest?
I'm not gonna lie, is calling Gojo the Honored One out of context glaze? Man, yeah, that might be too much glaze. Hey, bro, the Honored One? Man, that's Satoru, bro. You don't get that title, bro. Nigga gave himself that title and no one ever called him that. Let's talk about that. If you really tough, you're going to be given a title. You're going to be given a title that people will place upon you due to your actions and your output. Nigga called himself the Honored One. And then no one else ever called him that. Nigga gave himself his own title. Horrendous work.
Sorcerer of today, or will the power of friendship ultimately prove too much for him? Let's find out. Will someone please remind me to slap myself across the face later for saying that? My God.
All right, the Gojo Chronicles.
First, let's start with Gojo.
We all know most of Gojo's scaling is just going to be Infinity Glaze, but you know, we can engage. We can engage.
Somehow the easier of them to scale. No. Really, let me put this into perspective real quick. A battle shonen with over 200 chapters to its name, a sequel series ongoing right now, and God knows how many different hacks abilities, is somehow less nuanced to scale than My Little Pony. Anyway, Gojo should comfortably sit in the large town to city.
I like that. I like this lack of glaze, bro. I like what I'm seeing on screen right now. Niggas be talking about Gojo could really wipe the planet with one attack and bullshit like that, bro. All right, buddy.
Ranges of power at bare minimum.
Wait. I'm trying to calculate in my head real quick how much I'm going to be spoiled. I know most of Gojo versus Sukuna. So that really shouldn't be too much of a spoiler. I don't think, does Gojo do anything else for the rest of the series besides fight Sukuna that I haven't seen yet? I think I should be good.
You can not only do this through his own feats, but also upscaling characters like Jogo, who he was able to absolutely clown on. This is important because in Season 2, Jogo was able to create an attack called Maximum Meteor, which according to one of the official JJK data books, was capable of causing a...
Yo, what the fuck? JJK might be top 5 nerdiest shonen of all time, bro. Nigga drew out a whole graph to really help niggas calculate this shit. I respect it on the low. Massive
earthquake all throughout Shibuya, which when properly measured gets anywhere from 740 kilotons of TNT all the way up to 4 megatons of TNT, or large town to small city level.
Okay, I can take that. That's nothing crazy.
This is consistent with other interpretations of Maximum Meteor, where it is also stated that it would be capable of reducing a town to ash, which would require anywhere from 4 megatons of TNT all the way up to 79.
Although I'm not going to hold you. From what I've seen of Friendship is Magic, because I'm assuming that's the My Little Pony shit they're going for. At what point was anyone ever doing some town level bullshit, bro? Like Well, I don't know. I don't know what I see.
Megatons of TNT, or small city level plus to city level. And because Gojo is so much stronger than Jogo, I think it's more than fair to say that he would be several layers into city level at bare minimum, potentially mountain level being generous. But luckily, we don't need to take that route because there are several other methods that you can use to get Gojo higher, with one of the most infamous ones being his earthquake feat in chapter 221. After being released from the prison
Okay, see, now I'm scared. Now I'm scared I'm about to get spoiled for some shit.
realm, the mere reveal of Gojo's cursed energy was more than enough to cause a massive earthquake.
That's glaze. That's glaze. What does that even mean? The reveal of his cursed energy caused an earthquake? What?
That could be felt all the way from the trench of Japan to the mainland, which gets anywhere from 171 megatons of TNT all the way up to 13 gigatons of TNT.
What? I'm gonna let it slide.
Or mountain level to island level. This mountain to island level of power is pretty consistent, as you have other characters that Gojo would massively upscale, like Kenjaku, who was able to, albeit with a lot of difficulty, resist the pull of a black hole, which, given his distance and the estimated radius of the black hole in question, it would require around 850 megatons of TNT on Kenjaku's part to survive.
I'm hearing niggas bring up black holes, bro. I'm already seeing some glaze coming, bro. I'm already seeing some glaze coming. Because how are we suddenly scaling Gojo to a fucking black hole, bruh?
With further island level scaling coming from the fact that it's stated by Kenjaku in chapter 200 that Gojo would be capable of powering an entire nation with his curse.
You see, it's these statements is where they get you, bruh. Yo, is this nigga a statement merchant? First of all, it says there's a good chance. You want to know something? Alexa said there was a good chance. I'm not talking to you, Siri. You can shut off. Alexa said there was a good chance it would rain today. It didn't rain today. Powering a nation is the base for being a special grade? No fucking, bro, do you know how much power a nation takes? Nah, because this was written before them data centers was around, bro. They weren't, okay, so this doesn't really scale to like modern amounts of energy that we need to power a nation. You know what I mean? And also, they didn't say what country, bro. They could be talking about, you know what I mean, a little ass, like, I don't know, like what's a small ass nation? Because when you hear power a nation, your mind automatically wants to think like, oh, USA, Russia, China, big ass nation, India, something like that. This could be some little ass tiny country in Eastern Europe. So honestly, if we really got to scale this, we have to find the smallest nation energy output, and then we can give Gojo that scaling. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's fair to say like he's putting out like USA, China, India, levels of power.
First energy. And while it's never stated which country specifically or how long the time frame would be for him to power said country, given where Kenjaku was at the time, he was...
What the fuck am I looking at, bro? I'm really about to spoil myself, huh?
Probably referring to America. And giving him a somewhat generous time frame of about a year, Gojo would be...
Is that where his ass was going at the end of the season when he was walking into that big ass fucking room with all the niggas sitting down? I really don't care. I'm definitely going to forget this by 2027, but I refuse to give him the America glaze, bro. I refuse to give him the America glaze, bro. Plus, this shit was written before the data centers.
Exerting around 24 gigatons of TNT in order to keep the national power grid afloat. And even if we were to assume that it would be a significantly shorter time frame than this, he would still come out to the city or mountain ranges of power. So just even more consistency.
But he still can't hoop.
If you don't.
Like, remember he missed his shot, bro? Or did he? No, he drained his shit. I'm not going to lie. I
don't believe that 1 year time frame for whatever reason. Now, before we move on to speed, there are a couple higher tier arguments that we have to address.
Okay.
There are ways that...
Higher tier... How can you glaze this nigga higher, bro? You just said he could power the US.
You can get Gojo higher than this. Potentially in the country level ranges. Are they perfect? No, not really. Can you argue them? Yeah, definitely. But that conundrum mostly comes from domain scaling, which in that case, let's talk about it. I go over in more detail my problems with domain scaling in my Paw Patrol vs. Sukuna video, but pretty...
Nigga said that shit too casual. Oh man, we might gotta watch that one next. Nigga said that shit too casual. My Paw Patrol versus Sukuna video. Oh man. Oh, I love YouTube, man. I love what power scaling has become.
Pretty much it goes like this. Domain scaling isn't really applicable outside of almost exclusively Gojo and Sukuna, and that's for a pretty valid reason. Not only does it take an immense amount of cursed energy in order to construct a domain, but it's also stated to give buffs to a sorcerer's overall ability once inside.
I feel like domain scaling is some bullshit, because isn't a domain literally like a little mini alternate universe inside that bubble? Like damn near a whole nother dimension.
So if you're inside a domain, you would actually be stronger than what you are outside of it. So even saying stuff like Dagon actually did create an island or Jogo actually creating a mountain, that doesn't necessitate them being mountain.
Yeah, I never really understood that argument of like, no, they physically created these things that, no, come on, bro.
Or island level. Because they can't replicate that kind of energy when outside of...
That's the type of BS power scaling that be pissing me off, bro. When they're like, nah, bro, his domain got a mountain in the back. So he physically put together the matter that was needed to create a mountain. Like trust me, bro. With an author like 𝙏𝙖𝙡, you would know good and damn well if that's how domains work, bro. But it's pretty clearly supposed to be more like metaphorical, you know what I mean? Like symbolism, bro. Like, come on. Let's be serious right now.
Domain. But like I said before, you could argue people like Gojo and Sukuna to be exempt from this rule. Why? Well, they're just kind of built different. No, really, that's the explanation. They are just built different. Gojo and Sukuna have repeatedly been shown capable of basically spamming their domain expansion.
I'm not gonna lie, Sukuna domain ugly as fuck, bro. He need to get some braces for that shit. Like, I know the teeth are probably old. Like, his domain's probably like, what, 100, 200, 400, 1,000 years old? I don't know. But like, you know, them teeth are kind of rotting. Like, you think the breath is hot? Like, you think he cracked that domain open and it's just hot breath? It's just hot breath breathing in your face immediately, bro. Like, and then start getting cut up and shit. Because that shit looks nasty as fuck. That's foul.
This is not only due to their massive reserves of cursed energy, but it's also due to the refinements of their domains. And since AP is somewhat related to how much you can output in a domain, since cursed energy is responsible for the construction of said domain, you could argue that Gojo and Sukuna's domain expansion is far greater in terms of raw output than others. Though there are a couple decent counter arguments to this, with the biggest ones being that not only does refinement not inherently mean that you have a more powerful domain in terms of raw output, but domain expansions are also repeatedly described to be the pinnacle of what a sorcerer can achieve. But like I said, you could argue either way. So because I'm feeling really generous, let's wank Gojo a little bit. Wow, that came out wrong. Gojo should at max be in these small country ranges of power.
Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm gonna let it slide, because I feel like if he's glazing Gojo to this degree, these ponies might come with something wicked.
This is due to a different interpretation of Gojo's earthquake feat that we mentioned earlier. You see, because Gojo was located in a subduction zone, he would have also been affecting the tectonic plates surrounding him. While albeit it's a small amount, it would still get anywhere from 82 gigatons of TNT all the way up to 2 teratons of TNT. Or
what caused power scalers to measure force in TNT? Like what started that? Because I feel like it's so ubiquitous now, but it's just such a random thing to go off of. Like, okay, you can kind of imagine one thing of TNT going off, maybe. Did y'all watch Destroy, Build, Destroy growing up? That's the only reason I know what a TNT explosion looks like, bro. Because they use TNT and Destroy, Build, Destroy on Cartoon Network. But I feel like that's such a random, it's such a random unit of measurement that most people can't imagine. Like, what the fuck does a billion tons of TNT exploding looking like? At that point, wouldn't it just be smarter to say like 2 nukes, or I don't know how it scales out, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the TNT shit is It's funny because it's become so ubiquitous with power scaling, but I feel like no one ever really questioned, like, why do we use this unit of measurement?
Island to small country level. Granted, this is also assuming that it's using the total seismic energy, which I think is a little weird. But once again, because of where Gojo was and the fact that he did it explicitly with his cursed energy, I think it's somewhat fair to use. Though once again, this is still in the wank territory and is kind of contradicted by domain scaling, so just take that as you will. Deciphering JJK's speed can be a bit of a mess, but depending on if you think he's the strongest or at bare minimum the second strongest in the verse, this should be fairly simple to do. At absolute bare minimum, Gojo should massively eclipse a cursed Naoya, who was verbatim able to move at Mach 3. This is sort of the bare minimum for the high tiers and especially Gojo, because even to this day, there are still so many people clinging to Mach 3 being the pinnacle of the verse for whatever reason, ignoring the fact that power cliffing is a thing. Especially considering that there are so many other feats that get faster than Mach 3.
I bet not. If I hear the word light, I'm shutting this video off, just so that's out there.
Hell, Maki's first on-screen speed feat of her catching a bullet.
No. I heard this shit was like retconned or some shit. Didn't bro literally come out and say like, yeah, I was tweaking when I had her catch this bullet, bruh. I overestimated the amount of speed this would take. I'm pretty sure I've heard that Gege Akutami himself has come out and said that this was an oversight.
Could still be scaled faster than Mach 3 depending on who you ask. It's just not an effective way of downplaying a character, let alone an entire verse. Especially when after this feat you have close to 100 chapters of potential power growth that people either seem to blatantly ignore or just hand wave away for whatever reason. Anyway, as stated before, Gojo should at bare minimum be Mach 3. However, you could easily reach for high hypersonic to massively hypersonic. This can be done through not only his own feats, but also several other feats that he would also massively upscale.
I'm not even too worried about Gojo's speed though, because I already see where this is going, bro. I've heard some wicked shit about old girl with the rainbow hair, Rainbow Dash. They be putting her in actual speedster conversations, bro. So I feel like there's no type of glaze you can use to put Gojo on that tier of speed, bro.
Jogo's explosions, which gets anywhere from Mach 12 to Mach 25, Sukuna utterly blitzing piercing blood at Mach 39, and a 15-finger Sukuna saving Haruta, which gets to Mach 42. With the massively hypersonic ends of speed coming from stuff like Toji being able to react to Nue's lightning in slow motion, which gets to around Mach 228. One could argue that the lightning tier of speed is rather consistent for JJK high tiers, considering that other characters later in the story like Awakened Maki, who is comparable to Toji, could also react to lightning as well. With the highest tier of lightning timer feats coming from...
Nope. I smell some spoilers, bro. Nope. Sub-relativistic? What the fuck does that even mean, bro?
Speed. Now... admittedly, I am more lenient towards the massively hypersonic ranges of speed rather than massively hypersonic plus to sub-relativistic plus.
I mean, massively hypersonic would still be very, 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 very much slower than the speed of light, though. Like, the rift between light and sound is insanely large.
Plus, but if you want to argue it, you definitely can. Now, there are a couple arguments for the verse reaching relativistic, but personally, I think that's the absolute highest that you can get it. You got stuff like Megan maybe...
Nope. If I see manga panels, I'm skipping it, bro. I already got 2 spoilers in this shit. If I see manga panels, we're just skipping it.
That's about it. At this point, you've probably heard every nerd in existence talk about Gojo's abilities to death, so in that case, I'll just make this real quick.
Alright, Infinity, yes, we know this nigga has Infinity and you can't touch him, and that's going to be the whole big thing about whether or not the ponies could touch him through Infinity. I know one of them got some bullshit that can get through that, though.
Whole space, red repels space, and hollow purple is a convergence of the two, acting as a pseudo instant delete button if you want to ignore its inconsistent betrayal. With his most famous defensive ability being Infinity, which directly warps space on an atomic level to make sure that whatever projectile is traveling through space never hits Gojo, with quite possibly the most overpowered cross-verse equalizer that I've ever seen.
Bro, the amount of annoying ass niggas that have come from... I'm not gonna lie, Gege cooked with Infinity, bro. He cooked with Infinity, I can't even be mad at it. But that shit is so annoying to talk about, bruh.
Unlimited Void.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And what was that? He, like, shoves your brain with infinite information or something like that?
This domain expansion overloads the target's brain with infinite information, effectively lobotomizing them in the process. Whew, boy, that was a lot. Now that we've sufficiently scaled Satoru Gojo,
yeah, get this nigga out of here, bro. Get everyone clap it up for my girls. Yeah, they're all girls. Everyone clap it up for my girls. I need to see some crazy shit. I need to find out that apple cider's juice or Applejack cider like has healing. You know, I need to find out that Pinkie Pie like really like, I don't know, what could Pinkie Pie possibly do though? She just be getting hype. Like the only one here I can see really doing some wicked shit is Rainbow Dash is fast as fuck. All right, that's probably gonna be a big benefit. Purple Girl probably got some magic. Isn't the purple one kind of like the MC, so to speak? And then, yeah, I don't know. That's about it.
Opponents, the greatest defenders of Equestria, the main 6.
Whoa. Okay, already I'm seeing some transformations, bro. Why do these niggas got transformations? Okay, there's something I didn't know about My Little Pony, bro. There's something I didn't know about My Little Pony.
I mean, come on, they're My Little Pony characters, right? There's no way that they're that strong. Is she moving the moon and...
Okay, so that's a GG. That's gonna be a GG right there, bro. That's gonna be a GG right there. That's all we needed to see. That's all we needed to see. We're flinging this nigga into the sun. Easy work.
Son.
Okay, so MLP is pretty strong.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about. So, as weird as this is going to sound, the main 6, God, they are consistently in the multi-city block to town level ranges at absolute bare minimum. As they scale massively above characters like Spike, who was able to destroy a massive chunk of ice with his fire breath, getting all
When did this nigga do this shit? I do remember my nigga
the way
Spike,
up to 980 tons of TNT. This level of power is consistent with other side characters like Mod Pie, who was able to create a...
Wait. Doesn't this show have old boy who they used to say could run fade with Bill Cipher? I forget his name. He was like, I guess he was like a villain or something.
Giant explosion by throwing a rock, which gets all the way up to 1.2 kilotons of TNT. And since other members
Discord,
of the main 6 like
name?
Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie have been shown keeping up with her, they should scale...
What are they... I didn't even know they squabbled in this show. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they just had like social interactions and you know, like just chilled in their little village.
To these small town levels of power as well. And before you hardcore MLP nerds get in my comments, I'm aware that this is just an alternate timeline. However, all this shows is that if they locked in, they should be comparable to her. So in my opinion, it's fair to use. Which, speaking of Rainbow Dash, she actually has several feats that gets the verse significantly higher than what we just put it at. Like her creating an absolutely enormous shockwave just by flying away, which gets as low as 63 kilotons of TNT all the way.
Yo, that he hit his boy on Discord for the calcs. Holy shit. This would make the radius move. Yo, power scaling is hilarious to me, bruh. Oh man, the ponies are 150 centimeters tall. Okay. Yo.
Up to 1.3 gigatons of TNT. And keep in mind, Rainbow Dash can casually create these shockwaves without even trying. And since logically speaking, her body would have had to have endured that same amount of energy in order to create...
She was moving with that shit though, I'm not gonna lie.
The shockwave, this puts her firmly in the town to large mountain level ranges. And since the other members of the main 6 have repeatedly been shown capable of fighting on par with...
What the fuck was that? Ew, it's like a bumblebee bear thing. That shit is disgusting. Also, why did old purple, why did she like smile when she hit her dodge, bruh? Like, why'd she close her eyes and do this shit so gracefully?
Each other, this will put them firmly in the town to large mountain ranges as well. This level of power can be further backed up through the changelings, which were able to create a massive explosion that parted a massive formation of clouds, resulting in 4.2 gigatons of TNT. It's also worth mentioning that everyone was able to survive this with little to no injury, including the main 6, so even more evidence that they all scale to this level of power. But enough of that. You want the real stuff. You want the real...
Nigga, that wasn't the real stuff? What do you mean we want the real stuff? That was enough for me.
Reason that you came here. Let's talk about their high ends. And this can be done through another Rainbow Dash feat, but this time it's a little different. This comes from her first ever legendary Sonic Rain Boom, where the resulting shockwave was able to part massive formations of clouds all over Equestria, resulting in about 5.4
That shit was cool, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I like the way it was illustrated.
tons of TNT, or small country level plus. And keep in mind, she did this when she was a filly, so logically speaking,
when she was a kid?
Should be significantly stronger than when she was a literal child. But we're still not done yet, because to get their highest ends of power, we have to take a look at the IDW comics.
Oh no, we cracking out comics, bro. We cracking out source material. We getting scans for fucking My Little Pony, bro. All right, this shit about to get evil, bro. Because now they not held back by like animator skill, bro. They can just draw whatever bullshit they want. I didn't even know they had comics for My Little Pony, bro. Whenever a nigga start cracking out shit that's on paper, you know that's when shit gets wicked, bro. Whether it's Sonic, whether it could be any material, bro. Whenever niggas get to cracking out source material, it's a GG.
Several members of the main six, including Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, and Twilight, along with a little help from Celestia and Luna, were able to pull the moon to Equestria.
Pull the nigga. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 people pulling the moon. You know this little nigga not helping, bro. He think he part of the team. He not doing shit. I guess these two are using fucking telekinesis or something, huh?
And considering that this likely happened within a few minutes, this would require around 39 Yoda tons of TNT.
Yoda tons, okay.
Or firmly in the large planetary ranges of power. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't me saying that every member of the main six is large planet.
I'm still like, what does homegirl over here even do, bruh? All I remember was her making apple cider all day.
However, even if these members of the main six were only contributing...
Oh shit, they're changing my lights colors, bruh. Like, they're breaking into the... My fault, Applejack. I ain't mean to disrespect you like that. They over there changing my light colors and shit, bro. What's going on?
1% of the total energy needed to move the moon in the way that they did, this would still come out to the planetary ranges of power. To be specific, anywhere from 99 to 100.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If you get to the point where you... Yo, at what point is power scaling going to reach a number that we haven't even like documented yet? At what point will power scaling reach a number where we're like, oh shit, we don't have this number in Word yet? You know what I mean? First of all, what is the largest number we've documented? I feel like at a certain point, it has to go, all right, we're done here, and then we're just saying infinity. Like, what is the largest named number? Googleplex. Okay, I've heard of Googleplex. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is the number niggas used to pull out when they said they was finna be rich as a kid. I used to be telling niggas I'd make Googleplex dollars. I mean, I don't even know if this is... because Googleplex isn't that big, is it? Regardless, bro. At what point... I remember specifically, I would say I'm gonna make Googleplex squared dollars. Didn't know what the fuck a square was at the time, or a square root. But yeah, at what point is power scaling going to reach a point where the power scaler in question has to name a number?
And 32 zetatons of TNT. Not even close to large planet, but still super impressive nonetheless. Now, to give credit to the Skeptics Corner, you could say that this is an outlier.
Hey, they got that shit on. Hold on. When they get the new fits.
And to be honest, I wouldn't necessarily blame you, as pretty much every other feat that they have would be considerably below this. But just because of how blatant it is, I'd say it's...
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, this purple nigga's starting to piss me off, bro. You not part of the team. All you did was hit one little iceberg at the beginning, bro. with your little ass. You don't deserve this group. Like, was he really like that? Why'd they add this nigga, bruh? Is he canon?
It's a pretty decent highball. Kind of questionable under scrutiny, but overall pretty decent to use.
That nigga said, do not disrespect Spike. My fault? I didn't know niggas fuck with Spike like that. I didn't know niggas fucked with Spike like that. Niggas start putting a gun at my head. Do not disrespect Spike. My fault, bro. Damn, I don't see him being talked about in this video. So, like, my question is, like, I feel like Spike was like their, like, Make-A-Wish kid equivalent, bro. Like, they kind of just kept them around on some nice shit, on some friendship shit. But was he ever really in the mix? That's what you have to ask yourself.
While you could be skeptical of the other's scaling, we know that there is one exception to this rule. Celestia's star pupil, Twilight Sparkle.
So she,
we know that by the end of the series,
what the, my fault, Spike. Yo, that nigga Spike about to suplex my shit, bro. Yo, my fault, Spike. My fault, Spike. I didn't even really mean it like that, bro. And why did she get all big and the rest of them stayed little? Like, what the fuck? Why did she get all, like, long? It's kind of Apple Dash then, I mean, not Apple Dash, Rainbow Dash then cut off, like, most of her mane, bruh. Got a fucking weak-ass mohawk.
Twilight would scale to characters like Celestia and Luna, as she's taken the responsibility of raising the sun. Yep, Twilight has now taken on the responsibility of moving a celestial object that weighs up.
Like, she gotta do that shit every day? Like, okay, let me wake up and put the sun up for these niggas real quick?
Upwards of 4.4 octillion pounds. And because we've seen Celestia literally move the sun at relativistic speeds, I mean, we've seen Twilight do it as well, this will require anywhere from 1.1 pho to 4.08 kilopho, or large star to solar system levels.
I thought he had an accent, bro. I thought he was saying four, like pho. No. This is getting crazy.
Power. Now, for those who are wondering,
No, I'm not gonna lie, bro. So then what the why even throw them up against Gojo, bro? They did that because they knew it would attract the power scalers. Although, to be fair, okay, you know, the argument can be made that nothing discussed here, so far at least, can get through infinity. And that's what makes Gojo scaling so fucking pissy, bro. Is that it basically zeroes out, negs every other feat in scaling. And if you don't have some way to either cancel that out or cross infinity, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll see. We still got a good portion of video left.
What is a pho? What's a kilopho? Well, allow me to educate you. A pho is a unit of measurement used to describe one of the most powerful phenomenon in the known universe, that being a supernova, which releases around 10 to the 44 power joules. And a kilopho is a unit of measurement to describe 1,000 pho. So
okay, yeah, like that's true. You know, when I go to the gym, like I be like curling like about 35 pho worth of weight. So, you know, this is accurate.
So yeah, if you get hit with Twilight's magic, you're basically being hit with several thousand supernovas going off at the same time. Now that we got a basic layover of their AP, let's move on to speed. And to be blunt, they should all be in the massively hypersonic ranges of speed at bare minimum. This comes from characters like Rainbow Dash being able to weave out of the way of lightning at Mach 895. This is also consistent with other feats like Tank and Applejack.
What the fuck is this turtle doing?
Being able to weave out of the way of lightning at massively hypersonic speeds as well. With their higher ends of speed coming from the fact that they can pretty regularly react to magic. Well, at least Twilight can. As I said before, the others are pretty comparable to her.
Damn, I'm not gonna lie, she just got farmed on. You saw the eyes closed dodge?
As well. With their higher ends of speed coming from the fact that they can pretty regularly react to magic. Well, at least Twilight can. As I said before, the others are pretty comparable to her.
Damn, that was kind of fucked up.
This is important because unicorn magic is shown to be capable of traveling the distance between the Earth and Moon in under a second at 1.6 to 3.6 times the speed of light.
Lit the moon up.
And once again, since all the members of the main six, including Twilight, have been shown keeping up with each other, this would firmly place them in the faster than light ranges of combat and reaction speeds.
Okay, so they're already faster than this nigga, for sure.
And even if you don't think this line...
Were they really boxing in this show like this? I feel like I missed out on a lot of fire as a kid, bro. Because I you know, back when he was a kid, like, they used to make the delineation like, oh, that's a girl show, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I used to fuck with the girls shows on like on the low. You know what I mean? But like I wasn't trying to get fried. But I didn't know they were boxing. Like, to be fair though, My Little Pony didn't really like, I feel like it didn't start picking up traction until like I was like an early teen, like 12, 13. So like maybe I would have aged out of it. And then like I was scared of bronies, bro, because BronyCon, this is true. I'm from Maryland. BronyCon takes place in Maryland. If maybe the venue changed, but BronyCon takes place in Baltimore usually. Yo, y'all good, BronyCon? Like, y'all not gonna let me in the site? They heard me talking shit. They said I'm not cool enough to get in the site. Damn. But yeah, BronyCon takes place in Maryland, and so like, you know what I mean? Like, I would be in Baltimore trying to go to the aquarium, bruh, and like, I would just see like, and you know what I mean? Hey, to each their own, bruh. But like, bronies, they were just kind of scary back in the day, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Because like, I wouldn't really know what was going on. And they kind of, I mean, you know, cons can get pretty, most any con can get pretty rancid just because of so many bodies in one place. And I was just scared, bro. I was just scared. And then on top of that, bro, like by the ages I didn't really care about like boy girl show delineation anymore. Like I was about to say My Hero. The My Little Pony community, like they were getting horrible press, bro. I think the most like popular thing was the jar. I know niggas know what I'm talking about when I say the jar. All right, we can't say the word because we're not going to get me knocked off Twitch or YouTube. But for the longest time, the jar was like the most propagated thing about the My Little Pony community, right? And so that kind of just had me being like, nah, I'm cool off that. Now, mind you, if I would have been a bit younger and watched this shit on, did this air on like Disney XD? I remember this airing on like CW or something. I'd have to ask my sister. But, yeah, like if I had watched this and saw they were boxing, I probably would have been a fan. I'm not going to lie. All right. But hey, you know, it was on Cartoon Network. This shit was not on Cartoon Network, bro. That's cap. At least not when I was, this shit was definitely not on Cartoon Network, bro. I think it was on CW. I never saw My Little Pony on Cartoon Network, bro. If it was on Cartoon Network, I probably would have peeped it. I'm not going to lie.
And if scaling applies to the main six, it would to Twilight, as since she's taken the responsibility of raising the sun, she should be capable of replicating the feat she performed in Season 4. And while she was massively amped, the fact that she's able to do this right now is proof that she should scale to it. Now, believe it or not, there's actually several ways that you could get the main six higher than FTL, with the most infamous of these being Rainbow Dash capable of moving at warp 8 speeds.
What does that even mean?
If you know anything about Star Trek, I sure don't. The warp scale essentially is a measure on how many times faster than light you are while warping through space. With warp 8 having been determined to require speeds of upwards of 512 times the speed of light to reach, or firmly in the massively faster than light ranges of speed. Now, some may default to this just meaning travel speed, as, well, it is a travel speed feat, but many—
That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Whenever you start seeing comic book panels get in the mix, bro, you know some bullshit is abound. Comic writers don't give a fuck about damn, bro. It's just straight fuckery in comics, bro. They just be doing whatever. Like warp 5, 6, I'm giving her all she's got. 7, 8, she's gonna whoa. Pause. It's especially knowing the jar incident. Is this anywho?
Forget that Rainbow Dash is capable of actively turning at these speeds. And even if we were to say this is just travel speed, several characters such as Pinkie Pie and even Fluttershy at one point—
God damn, Pinkie Pie! What are you? Yo, her ass moving off, I get flight, but off pure hoof speed, I knew her ass had to have something, bro. I knew her ass had to have something. Why? How is she keeping up with old girl on straight foot speed?
Have been able to somewhat keep up with her, so they should all just scale to this regardless. Now that we got a basic rundown of their speed, what about
She was mad? we saying this like this. Oh yeah, Pinkie Pie was mad, so she just started moving at the speed of some. Bro, what?
Abilities. And unfortunately, several members of the team don't really have any abilities per se to
Nigga
speak
said
of.
she hauling ass.
Twilight is the one who is doing like 95% of the heavy lifting.
I'm not gonna lie. God damn, this looks broken, bro. Twilight, I feel like I wouldn't really like Twilight if I was watching this coming up, bro. I feel like she gets overglazed. I feel like I would have been like a Pinkie Pie or apple cider, Applejack fan. And I feel like they get less feats than the rest of them, or am I tweaking?
Here. And yeah, she makes up for that. Transmutation, teleportation.
Nigga, what the did she just turn an apple into a bowl of
Abilities
eggs?
per se to speak of. Twilight is the one who is doing like 95% of the heavy lifting here. And yeah, she makes up for that. Transmutation.
Yo, what type of fuckery is going on, bro? That shit would piss me off. I get a fresh apple, you turn that shit into 4 eggs. That's just such a random transmutation, bro. Just doing dog shit for the fuck of it, bro.
Teleportation, telekinesis.
Okay, teleportation. So she can already beat infinity.
Shield creation, speed enhancements, duplication, potentially having mind control, sealing, the list goes on. Add on to that she basically has the intelligence of a super genius, and she's definitely going to be the MVP
Yeah, I definitely would have hated her. I would have hated her for similar reasons that I hate Gojo, actually.
here. But surprisingly, Pinkie Pie actually has several
Oh shit, PP? I was a big Pinkie Pie fan growing up, bro. I did like Pinkie Pie.
abilities that are pretty noteworthy. Like her being able to somehow reassemble her body like Lego bricks after being split into several dozen pieces.
What? What?
And the other
Are we just going to walk by that? What do you mean somehow
actually
being
has several abilities that are pretty noteworthy. Like her being able to somehow reassemble her
Nigga, what? What does that even mean? How did this happen? Okay, bro.
body like Lego
Pinky just does BS that's never explained.
bricks after being split into several dozen pieces. And the other being her gag-related teleportation.
What? Okay, so she got like Toon Force type shit.
Which is really gonna come in handy in a minute.
Yep.
Now that we've
Gotta
finally
get past that, man, get this bullshit ass nigga out of here, bro. Yeah, there's nothing in his package that he has for these. No, it's over. Like you don't even have to loop back around to Gojo, bro. It's okay.
Established the strength, speed, durability, and abilities of both camps. Let's see who would win between the strongest sorcerer of the modern day and the strongest defenders of Equestria.
It's not even fair to put multiple ponies on him, bro. That's not fair.
Satoru Gojo, or the main 6. Now, in terms of their raw physical stats, this is surprisingly cut and dry. The main 6 pretty comfortably fitting in that town to large mountain ranges of power means that they should at worst be a little bit behind, if not comparable to Gojo's mid to high end stuff. And
What, is he just talking about body physicals? Because we did just watch them move the moon and shit.
even if we were to use some of the arguments that could potentially get Gojo in the island to small country ranges of power, you'd have to give the same leniency to the main 6, in which, oh my god, it becomes so much worse for Gojo. As even when she was a literal child, Rainbow Dash was capable of creating a feat that was at worst comparable, if not slightly stronger than the best interpretations of Gojo's Earthquake. Let alone several members of the main 6 literally pulling the moon to a planetary yield. Meanwhile, the only way to scale Gojo to
Nope, this shit looks like a spoiler. I definitely ain't seen this shit animated. What the hell is that?
as even if you don't think the celestial scaling applies to the other members of the main 6 for whatever reason, it most definitely would for Twilight, with her being able to output large star to solar system levels of
So honestly, this could have just been Twilight versus Gojo, and it still would have been a smack.
power. It doesn't matter what argument you use for Gojo because he is getting completely atomized. And unfortunately for Gojo, that same difference applies to speed as well. As even being generous to Gojo and saying he's in the subrelativistic to relativistic ranges of reaction and perception speed, several members of the main 6 being able to pretty casually react to magic which can move at several times the speed of light means that Gojo is getting speed blitzed several times over.
Instantaneously, bro. Nigga gonna be dead before he can think about
Gets
anything.
even worse, especially if you use the massively faster than light ranges of speed for Rainbow Dash, which the other members of the main 6 should scale to. meaning that all of them should technically be capable of surviving, tanking, if not just outright avoiding whatever attack Gojo throws at them with little difficulty. But we're not done yet, as Gojo actually has two attributes that do make this a pretty interesting discussion to be had. His curse technique, Infinity, and his domain.
I didn't think about Infinity, but even then, it takes like what? Was it 0.2, 0.3 seconds for Infinity to expand? And so that might be too long, bruh. That might be too long.
In expansion, Unlimited Void. You see, even though we've already established that the main six should at worst be capable of matching, if not just straight up stat stomping Gojo, all that strength is pretty much useless because they can't hit him. So, do they have a way past Infinity? Yep, several.
They got
actually.
teleportation,
and we
don't
know
they?
this because of Twilight's telekinesis and her teleportation, with both being basically the perfect counters for Infinity.
That's all I needed to hear. That basically seals the deal.
Because teleportation isn't literally traveling through space, it's just arriving at one point instantaneously from another. And telekinesis also isn't an attack that can just be detected and then slowed down by Infinity. It just kind of happens. So either A, Twilight could just teleport onto Gojo and then beat the brakes off of him, or B, just grab him with her telekinesis and then use him as a human battering ram. Or just crush him. Either goes, honestly. Which is all neat and dandy, but do they have a counter for Gojo's ultimate ability, Unlimited Void? And surprisingly, no, they don't.
Oh shit.
Yep, this is the one guaranteed win con that Gojo has. If Gojo does somehow get them caught in a domain expansion, then yeah, they're just cooked.
But I do remember the expansion taking like what would to us be negligible amount of time. But like if we're saying it's 0.3 seconds to, I want to say people, but they're not people, to equestrians that can move at warp 8 speed, that 0.3 seconds might as well be a snail's pace,
Like, there's nothing that they can do. However, this is a huge, humongous, absolutely massive if. While obviously they wouldn't know what Infinite Void did the first time around, they definitely figure out that something is about to happen when Gojo starts.
Pinky would also be it. What the fuck is Pinky sense, bro? Yo. Yo, he just threw this in here. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Pinky sense, bruh. Dog, what? Pinky sense. Okay, so she would have been able to pre-predict that the domain was about to be cracked.
Throwing up a hand sign and speaking, especially considering the 0.2 second activation time.
Yeah, I did remember it being 0.2, 0.3, something like that. Old girl with Rainbow Dash could scoop them all up and get them out of there.
For Unlimited Void is absolutely child's play compared to what the main six can react to. So like, even if Gojo were to unleash Unlimited Void, the chance of it actually landing is shockingly low, like to the point where it's almost impossible in my opinion. Now, all that already sounds pretty bad on its own, right? All of them should be capable of, at worst, contending with him, and at most, completely stat-stomping Gojo into the ground. As well as having several members like Twilight and Pinkie Pie who can easily bypass his one major defensive ability through teleportation.
What, Pinkie Pie just finna spawn out of his hair or something?
Or other means. Not to mention, the one guaranteed win con that Gojo has, if it lands, is not even a guaranteed hit because of the immense stat difference between them. But what if I told you it gets even worse? Because there are ways that they can win even without lifting a hoof or hoof
okay,
or whatever.
Now we got some
as
bullshit
they could just
coming.
call any of these three.
Yeah, this was old boy that they said could tussle with Bill Cipher. I'm not gonna lie, I hate this design with a passion, bro. What is going on? We got a griffin, goat, Baphomet, elk, unicorn, human with the little wings on the side thing. And that snaggletooth.
To help or even beat Gojo for them. And yeah, I know it's not technically in character for Celestia or Luna to just step in and do all the work for the main six, but Discord definitely would do almost anything for Fluttershy, so yeah.
What does that mean?
The things that Discord, the nigh omnipotent reality warping chaos god, would do to Gojo if he somehow managed to hurt Fluttershy would go down in history books. So even if Gojo does somehow win against the main six, he still loses.
How did they beat this nigga then, bro? Pointy tooth. That tooth is pissing me off, bro.
So yeah, low-key, Gojo is cooked. They are significantly stronger at their best, significantly faster at their best, and have multiple ways of not only bypassing infinity, but potentially avoiding the one win con that Gojo actually has. On top of having top-tier insurance if they somehow manage to lose. The main six win.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know how cracked they were, bro, but the moment we got into the main six, and that nigga said she was moving the moon and the sun, I said, all right, bro. We just put Gojo in here for the clickbait now.